The United States has expelled 2 Cuban diplomats after a series of incidents involving U.S. personnel in Cuba. It's unclear what happened, but American workers there have suffered from, and I'm quoting here, physical symptoms, prompting the State Department to respond.
We asked 2 officials who were accredited at the Embassy of Cuba in the United States to depart the United States. Those 2 individuals have departed the United States. We take the situation very seriously. One of the things we talk about here often is that the safety and security of American citizens at home and abroad is our top priority. We're taking that situation seriously, and it's under investigation right now.
Steve Dorsey of CBS News Radio broke the story. He joins me now from our Washington bureau. So, Steve, what more have you learned about the incidents in Cuba?
Well, Rena, this is a mysterious story. These incidents that we're hearing about from the State Department are very strange because they're offering very few details on them. What we can tell you is that they suffered, these American workers, government workers based in Havana, suffered some, what the State Department is calling physical symptoms. And some were so bad that the State Department says it allowed a number of them, they're not saying how many, to cut their assignments short in Havana and return to the United States. Now, as you just heard from Heather Nauert, the spokesperson for the State Department, in response, the U.S. asked 2 Cuban embassy officials here in the United States to depart the country, but that was May the 23rd. So why are we just learning about this now? What were these incidents, and are they still going on?
So why do you think the administration believes that the Cuban government is responsible for what happened in Cuba?
Well, so far they're not pointing any fingers, at least publicly. They are saying that Cuba has a responsibility under the Vienna Convention to protect American diplomats and protect all diplomats there. What's unclear is where is the source of this and what is the cause of these physical symptoms and these incidents that the State Department now admits has been going on since late last year.
Steve, as you know, U.S. relations with Cuba were normalized under President Obama. Coming into the White House, President Trump took a very different approach in his language towards Cuba. Does that relate on any matter? Is there a connection here with the current diplomatic relations?
It's hard to tell right now because so much of the Cuban relationship is unclear with the Trump administration, especially now in office, because we do not have a permanent U.S. ambassador to Cuba. That is significant in terms of the relationship between the U.S. and Cuba, at least on a diplomatic level. So that's going to be important in how that plays into what we're hearing about happening to our own government workers in Havana.
Do you think this jeopardizes the progress of normalizing relations, Steve? Is there any way of gauging that?
I think it's important that we hear from Cuba itself, what's been going on and how they're responding so far. The Cuba representative at the United Nations and Cuban embassy officials have not returned our phone calls and emails asking comment. So it's going to be important to see how this plays into their relationship with the Trump administration especially.
That's a fascinating story. Steve Dorsey, thank you for bringing this to us.